Young or old, mature or immature, every INFJ learns lessons in life that they wish they would have known earlier. Whether it's knowing how to properly balance their introversion and curiosities or learning how to set proper boundaries to protect their energy. There are some things that need to be experienced and others that can be avoided through simple experienced advice. Welcome back, Psychos. Today, we're discussing critical INFJ advice and life tips from experienced INFJs themselves. But before we get into today's video, we'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel, as well as to click the post notification bell so you never miss a video. Alright, let's jump right into it, starting with tip number 1. Beware of energy vampires. If there's one piece of advice that younger INFJs could benefit from, it's be careful of who you spend your time with. Unfortunately, it's much easier said than done, being the empathetic and caring type they're known to be. However, it comes to a point of choosing your own mental sanity over that of someone else. INFJs love to learn what makes certain people tick, but some people can easily sense this and use it to their own advantage, with little concern as to how it affects the INFJ overall. Energy vampires will zap the mental and emotional energy that INFJs try so hard to maintain, and sometimes this source of exhaustion isn't so obvious. So, to the INFJs who are serious about thriving in their environment and moving towards personal success, you must learn to turn a deaf ear to those who come with issues that other people aren't willing to deal with. The weak will automatically be drawn to the listeners and advice givers, but you need to know when it's time to surround yourself with people of the same mental frequency, rather than desperately trying to raise people up to their level. Tip number 2. Don't get caught up trying to find the ideal path. Ask any INFJ if they feel certain that where they are in life is where they're supposed to be, and you'll be met with some serious doubt. Even the most content and theoretically balanced INFJ will find aspects of their life that they're not exactly sure about. With a mix of idealizing tendencies and lone wolf curiosity, this desire for something more or something different is never ending. So, what's the trick to not getting too caught up in desire confusion? Stop trying to find that ideal path. We get it, this may burst some bubbles, but it's crucial for INFJs to know that they're meant to experience life through many different facets. It's normal to love some aspects of certain life paths and not others. It's okay to continuously fine-tune our environment to feel the most comfortable and true to ourselves, and it's not something to be ashamed about. So, for the younger INFJs who are confused with schooling, careers, or even relationships, it's best to continue experimenting with the idea of developing yourself rather than finding that ideal mix. Pursue what you authentically want and value. Don't live your life for others or towards some imaginary standard. Tip number 3. Never stop learning. Some personality types reach a point of feeling so content with where they are in their lives that their motivation to continue learning dwindles into nothingness. INFJs are guilty of this too, but it tends to affect their overall happiness on a different level than most. For this knowledge-thirsty type, life in general can seem extremely dull when there's nothing new to dive into and experience. In fact, when there's nothing new and exciting, INFJs can quickly fall into a dark despair of trying to dig deeper into the things they already know, things that don't really need looking into. For example, when there's nothing new, the INFJ can become hyper-focused on the ins and outs of their romantic partnership, friendships, parenting style, career choice, or any other sector in life. Overthinking how and where it could be better, when, in reality, it's perfectly balanced just the way it is. So, follow those hunches to learn something new and always have some sort of side project that is intended solely for personal growth and experience. Maybe it's time to learn a new language, travel to a new country, start a new sport, or even try a new genre of reading material. Tip number 4. Be more selfish. This piece of advice is simple, but it may seem a little self-centered in the eyes of people that don't understand how easy it is for the INFJ to put their own needs on the back burner. Let's just say each INFJ must learn to be more selfish with their decisions in life in order to be happy, and there's no way around that. Luckily, an INFJ's needs and wants are usually far from being self-absorbed. This personality type has a natural tendency to consider how their actions affect those around them, and it only becomes toxic when they can't use this judgment to their own advantage. Some INFJs can end up living their whole lives for other people, completely voluntarily, because they get a sense of accomplishment that they can't find elsewhere. However, when this happens, they usually end up feeling stuck within their own lives, pondering what it would be like to live the life of the people they're helping. So, INFJs, live life for you above all else. No ifs, ands, or buts. Tip number 5. Don't expect people to have the same morals as you. It's a sad reality that most INFJs learn the hard way. Not everyone has the same morals and values as their introspective selves, and that's okay. A lot of INFJs can get rather disappointed or even depressed in life when they realize the depth of immorality of the world and the systems placed upon our civilization. Despite their deep understanding of other people's motives, sometimes there's no explanation for such delusional thinking and evilness. And although it would be easiest to live and let live, most INFJs can get wrapped up in the idea that people who lack morals probably just need some light in their life in order to put things into proper perspective. This is where difficult relationships and connections can take a toll. INFJs need to understand that some people don't need or want saving, nor are they willing to change the way they do things. Therefore, the best thing for younger INFJs to do is to distance themselves from that reality by surrounding themselves with people and things that align with their views. It's a hard pill to swallow, but denial doesn't help anyone. Tip number 6. You're not as awkward as you think you are. Some INFJs just need a reminder that they blend into society more than they probably think they do. Sure, you may feel like you stick out like a sore thumb, but most of the time, it's in your head. Growing up, some INFJs compare themselves to the rather socially inclined friends they have and begin to wonder why they don't feel like mingling or necessarily making new friends. They begin to ask themselves things like, am I really that awkward? Or, what kind of human gets uncomfortable when conversing with their own species? Well, we're here to tell you that your desire for solitude doesn't necessarily stem from being awkward, and that, when you choose to socialize, you have the natural ability to be more captivating and understanding than most people. So, ditch the idea that you're some strange alien from another planet. Sure, you may be a reincarnated extraterrestrial, but in this life, you are human, and you blend in with your fellow humans just enough to keep your place. Tip number 7. Lost in life? Resort back to childhood. Adulthood is overwhelming for everyone, not just the INFJ. Every type can get to a point where they feel absolutely lost without a clue as to what their next step should be in life, and it can be pretty scary to say the least. For the INFJ, who is known for their future-focused thinking, it can be difficult to incorporate all the requirements they set out for themselves when calculating their next move. How happy will I be? Will I regret my decision? Will I upset my friends and family? Will it make me enough money to do the things I love? Do I even need to make money to live the life I want? Will my mental health suffer? And the list goes on. INFJs not only get caught up in finding their ideal path in life, but in doing so, they forget who they are in the process. And so, sometimes backpedaling can serve to be more beneficial than thinking anew. What did you naturally gravitate towards as a child? Do you like working with your hands? Did you like teaching others? Or maybe you enjoyed being in front of a camera? Your inner child will always bring happiness because, in the end, it's only you before the world made its impact. Tip number 8. Don't bother trying to fit in places that you don't belong. A lot of INFJs get that they don't belong in their environment, and they're probably right. In relation to the hope most INFJs have in finding that ideal path, it becomes even more difficult when they're pressured by society to fit a certain mold. With an interest in the deeper, more complex aspects of life, surface-level societal constructs can zap the motivation of an INFJ entirely. In fact, if an INFJ remains in an environment that they don't feel comfortable in for too long, they can eventually spiral down the dark hole of INFJ burnout and begin relying on their shadow functions to manage. And let's just say, no INFJ wants to be in that headspace. And so, the best advice to avoid getting stuck in these incompatible circumstances is to become aware of the skills you most enjoy using, in the environments you prefer. For example, if you enjoy a quaint and quiet work environment, a job on a construction site may not be for you. Don't kid yourself because of the paycheck. Well, that wraps up today's video, psychos. So, what's the best piece of advice that was given to you as an INFJ? Let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a video.